Good morning, everyone. Before we start our discussion, let me first introduce my groupmates. Patricia Abamonga with the topic Global Divide, the North and South. Jerin Estanio talks about the U.S. economic depression after the War of 1812. Antoinette Cagas with the topic Experiences of the South in 1815 to 1840. Mary Grace Macahilos talks about the existence of Democratic Party outcastle slavery. James Acta with the topic Regional Trading Agreements. And I am Cherishmaid D. Dumatikan, the fifth reporter of Group 7. I will tackle about Asian regionalism. Regionalism is in vogue and it is here to stay. However, in the ultimate analysis, it is no substitute for globalism. Given that the global economy is not governed by the free market rules, regionalism and globalism can function in a complementary manner. Regionalism that is not open and is devoid of globalism is antithetical for maximizing the global output and therefore for global economic welfare. As we shall see in Section 7, open regionalism was pioneered by Australia and New Zealand and is being practiced by the APEC or Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum. The paper begins with an introduction of the contemporary regionalism, provides a definition of regionalism, and delves into its various characteristics as well as the diversity of its texture. Pacific region caught onto regionalism late. In its institutional form, Asian, Asian policymakers ignored the concept for a long time. Economic growth in Asia has a certain characteristic patterns to it. Over the preceding half a century, the high-performing Asian economies adopt outward oriented state strategies promoting trade and foreign investment. After a lag, this led to the expansion of intra-regional trade and investment. Asia's essentially market-led. Regional production networks were the consequence of market-led economic dynamics of the region. Large corporations, including transnationals, contribute to the growth of Pan-Asian industrialization process. The institutional of arrangements followed the market initiatives. Some regional initiatives were taken which are operating with varying degrees of success. These regional initiatives can coexist with globalism and serve as building blocks. Asian regionalism. Asian regionalism is the product of economic interaction, not political planning, as a result of successful outward-oriented growth strategies. Asian economies have grown not only richer but also closer together. In recent years, new technological trends have further strengthened ties among them, as have the rise of the PRC and India and the region's growing weight in the global economy. But adversity also played a role. The 1997 to 1998 financial crisis dealt to a severe setback too much of the region, highlighting Asia's shared interests and common vulnerabilities and providing an impetus for regional cooperation. The challenge now facing Asia's policymakers is simply put yet incredibly complex. Where markets have led, how should governments follow? In the early stages of Asia's economic takeoff, regional integration proceeded slowly. East Asian economies, in particular, focused on exporting to developed country markets rather than selling to each other. So, sa unang nga panahon, ang East Asian economy nag-focus og export sa ilang mga products dito sa lain nga developed countries like Europe without realizing nga pwede ra pud unta nila ibaligya within Asia. Then, Japanese economist Akamatsu observed that Asia's economies move information dili tungod kay directly link sila sa usag-usa pero naa sila gisunod nga path and sometimes competing ties to markets nga gawas na sa region without initially yielding strong economic links within sa Asia mismo. Now, though Asian economies are becoming closely intertwined, this is not because the region's development strategy has changed. It remains predominantly non-discriminatory and outward-oriented. Rather, interdependence is deepening because Asia's economies have grown large and prosperous enough to become important to each other. And because their patterns of production increasingly depend on networks that span several Asian economies and involve wide-ranging exchanges of parts and components among them. Asia is at the center of the development of such production networks because it has efficient transport and communication links, as well as policies geared to supporting trade. As these new production patterns tie Asian economies closer together, they also boost the international competitiveness of the region's firms. So these are the 5 unfamiliar words with meanings. Number 1, impetus. In English, motivation. In Tagalog, paganyak. In Bisaya, kadasig. Number 2, vulnerability. In English, exposed. In Tagalog, kahinaan. In Bisaya, kahuyang. Number 3, devoid. In English, lacking. In Tagalog, walang laman. In Bisaya, walay pulos. 4, antithetical. In English, contradictory. In Tagalog, magkasalungat. In Bisaya, nagkasumpaki. Number 5, coexist. In English, coincide. In Tagalog, magkasabay. In Bisaya, nagdungan. So that ends my topic. Thank you and God bless.